The Valorian Dominion had ruled the stars for 12,000 years. Their empire stretched across 100 star systems. Their fleets numbered in the thousands. Their name was spoken in whispers by 100 different species, all of them afraid. High Arbiter Thesson sat in his command chair aboard the flagship Eternal Judgment. He was old for his kind, his pale blue skin marked with the scars of 100 conquests. He had burned worlds. He had enslaved billions. He had never known defeat. Today would be easy. Today would be fun. His fleet had detected the signals 50 years ago. Radio waves, primitive broadcasts, music and voices from a small blue planet orbiting a yellow star. The creatures called themselves humans. They lived on a world they called Earth. Thesson had studied them. They were weak. They fought among themselves. They had no ships that could travel between stars. They were perfect. "How many ships do we have?" he asked his second-in-command. 200 warships, High Arbiter. More than enough for a primitive species." Thesson smiled. His teeth were sharp and white. "More than enough indeed. Begin the descent." The culling fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel above Earth. The blue planet hung in the darkness of space, beautiful and unaware. Thesson could see lights on the night side. Cities, millions of lives going about their small concerns. They had no idea what was coming. "Open a channel," Thesson ordered. "Let them see their new masters." His image was broadcast to every screen on Earth, every television, every computer, every phone. Billions of humans looked up and saw the face of an alien for the first time. "People of Earth," Thesson said. His voice was calm and cold. "I am High Arbiter Thesson of the Valorian Dominion. Your planet now belongs to us. You will surrender all weapons. You will surrender all governments. 40% of your population will be selected for relocation to serve the Dominion." He paused and let his words sink in. "You have 1 hour to respond. If you do not surrender, we will demonstrate our power. This is not a negotiation. This is your only warning." The channel closed. Thesson leaned back in his chair and waited. He had done this many times before. The response was always the same: panic, confusion, then surrender. 1 hour passed. No response came. Thesson was surprised. Most species begged for mercy within minutes. These humans were either very brave or very stupid. "They need a lesson," he said. "Target 3 of their largest coastal cities. Show them what we can do." The weapons officers obeyed without question. 3 beams of light shot down from the fleet. They struck Earth with the force of nuclear explosions. Sydney, Lagos, Rio de Janeiro. 3 cities, 18 million people. Gone in an instant. Where there had been buildings and streets and homes, there was now only fire and glass and death. "Open the channel again," Thesson ordered. His face appeared on every screen once more. Behind him, his officers were smiling. "That was a demonstration," he said. "We have destroyed 3 of your cities. 18 million of your kind are dead. This is what happens when you do not obey. You now have 1 more hour. Surrender or we will continue. We have enough weapons to burn your entire world." The channel closed. This time a response came within 17 minutes. But it was not what Thesson expected. It was not a surrender. It was not begging. It was not even a human face. It was text on a screen. Simple words in the human language called English. "Message received. Calculating response. Please stand by." Thesson stared at the message. His officers stared at the message. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Thesson laughed. It was a cruel sound that echoed through the bridge. "Calculating response?" he said. "They are trying to buy time. They think they can delay the inevitable. How amusing." His officers laughed with him. It was funny. These primitive creatures with their primitive technology thought they could calculate their way out of destruction. They had no ships. They had no weapons that could reach orbit. They were helpless. "Let them calculate," Thesson said. "Give them their hour. Then we burn another 3 cities, and another 3 after that. They will learn." The hour passed. No surrender came. Thesson burned 3 more cities: Moscow, Tokyo, Cairo, another 20 million dead. Still no surrender. Just that same message. "Calculating response. Please stand by." Something cold touched Thesson's heart. It was not fear. He did not know fear, but it was something close, something he had not felt in a very long time. "High Arbiter," one of his officers said. "We are detecting something strange." "What is it?" "Energy readings, coming from everywhere, from the dark side of their moon, from beneath the surface of the red planet, from empty space around us." Tessin stood up. "Show me." The main screen changed. It showed the space around Earth. Empty space, darkness and stars. Then the darkness moved. Ships appeared from nothing. They simply materialized out of empty space. One moment there was nothing. The next moment there were ships. Human ships. Ships that should not exist. Ships that were impossible. Tessin counted them. 37 vessels. They were smaller than his warships. They were sleek and dark and covered in strange symbols. "What is this?" he whispered. "High Arbiter, they are powering weapons. Energy readings are..." "High Arbiter, these readings cannot be correct. They are showing power levels beyond anything we have ever seen." Tassan's mouth went dry. He had conquered 100 worlds. He had never seen anything like this. "All ships, raise shields, prepare for..." He never finished the order. The human ships fired. Light erupted from their weapons. It was not like any light Tessin had ever seen. It was white and pure and terrible. The first beam hit the Eternal Judgment's shields. The shields held for exactly 1 second. Then they failed. The beam cut through the hull like it was paper. Half of Tessin's bridge crew died instantly. Alarms screamed. Fire erupted from the walls. Tassan was thrown from his chair. All around him, his fleet was dying. 200 warships, the pride of the Valorian Dominion. They were being cut apart like toys. The battle lasted 11 minutes. When it was over, not a single Valorian ship remained. 200 warships reduced to floating debris. Thousands of Valorian soldiers dead. High Arbiter Tessin died, with his hand reaching for a communication panel. His last thought was a question. Where had these humans come from? Where had they been hiding? And what else did they have? He would never know the answer, but the rest of the galaxy would find out very soon. Commander Elena Vasquez watched the last Violorian ship explode. The debris floated in the darkness of space, glowing orange and red. 200 enemy warships destroyed in 11 minutes. She felt nothing, not joy, not satisfaction, just cold, hard purpose. Behind her, the bridge crew of the UES Retribution was silent. They had trained for this moment for years. They had imagined it 1,000 times. But seeing it happen was different. Seeing their weapons tear through enemy shields like they were nothing. Seeing the invaders die. "Status report," Elena said. Her voice was calm. "All 37 ships reporting. No damage, no casualties. Enemy fleet completely destroyed." Elena nodded. "Good. Set course for the Valorian home system. Maximum speed." Her navigation officer turned to look at her. "Commander, we're going to their home world?" "Yes, but the battle is over. We won." Elena turned to face him. Her eyes were dark and cold. There was no mercy in them. There was no hesitation. "They killed 38 million of our people," she said. "Sydney, Lagos, Rio, Moscow, Tokyo, Cairo. 38 million men, women, and children, burned alive from orbit. The battle is not over. It has just begun." No one argued with her. No one dared. The fleet jumped to faster-than-light travel. The stars stretched into lines of light. And Elena Vasquez sat in her command chair and remembered. She remembered when she was 7 years old. She remembered her father taking her to visit the Europa research station. Jupiter hung in the sky like a giant eye. The ice beneath their feet was ancient and cold. "What are they looking for, Papa?" she had asked. "Signs of life," her father had said. "Anything that might be out there." They found something. Not life. Something older. Something stranger. Deep beneath the ice of Europa, buried for millions of years, there was a ship. An alien ship, but not from any species that still lived. This ship was ancient. Its creators had died long before the first fish crawled onto Earth's shores. And inside the ship, there were weapons. Elena was 30 years old when the government told her the truth. She was already a military officer by then. She had already proven herself smart and brave and cold enough for the job they needed done. They called it the Prometheus Initiative. For 60 years, Earth's greatest scientists had studied the alien technology in secret. They had learned how to build engines that could fold space. They had learned how to create shields that could stop any weapon. They had learned how to build weapons that made nuclear bombs look like toys. They built a fleet, 37 ships, hidden on the dark side of the moon, hidden beneath the surface of Mars, hidden in the empty spaces between planets, wrapped in cloaking fields that made them invisible. The world never knew. No government announced it. No scientist published papers. The secret was kept by a small group of people who understood one simple truth. The universe was dangerous, and humanity needed to be ready. Elena had spent 20 years preparing for this day. She had hoped it would never come. She had prayed that no aliens would find Earth. But they had found Earth, and they had made their choice. Now Elena would make hers. The journey to the Valorian home system took 3 days. 3 days of planning, 3 days of studying enemy defenses, 3 days of preparing for what came next. When the human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel, they found themselves in orbit around a green and blue world. It was beautiful. It had oceans and forests and cities that stretched for thousands of miles. Billions of Valorians lived there. Defense platforms surrounded the planet, weapon satellites, orbital stations, another 100 warships, hastily gathered to defend the homeworld. Elena looked at the defenses. She felt nothing. "Open a channel," she said. "Broadcast to the entire system." Her face appeared on every screen in the Valorian system. Billions of aliens looked up and saw a human for the first time. "I am Commander Elena Vasquez of the United Earthship." "Retribution," she said. "3 days ago, your culling fleet attacked our world. They killed 38 million of our people. They burned our cities. They demanded our surrender." She paused. When she spoke again, her voice was ice. "We did not surrender. We destroyed your fleet. High Arbiter. Thesson is dead. Every ship he brought to our world is now debris, and now we have come to your world." On the planet below, panic was spreading. Valorians ran through the streets. Military commanders screamed orders. Ships powered their weapons. Elena continued, "We are not here to kill your civilians. We are not here to burn your cities. We are not here to take slaves. That is what your people do. We are not like you." She leaned forward. "But we are here to end your ability to make war. Every military base, every weapons factory, every orbital platform, every warship, all of it will be destroyed. You will not threaten us again. You will not threaten anyone again." The Valorian defense fleet charged toward the human ships, 100 warships, thousands of brave soldiers ready to die for their homeworld. The battle lasted 6 minutes. When it was over, not a single Valorian warship remained. The human fleet had not lost a single ship. They had not even been damaged. Elena's fleet spent the next 3 days systematically destroying every piece of military equipment on the planet and in orbit. They were precise. They were careful. They only targeted military sites. Civilian cities were left untouched. Schools and hospitals were spared. The Valorian people watched from below as their mighty military was erased from existence. 60 ships tried to flee the system. The humans caught them all. When it was done, Elena broadcast one final message. "The Valorian Dominion's ability to make war has been ended. Your military is gone. Your weapons are gone. You are no longer a threat to anyone." She paused. "You may rebuild your civilization. You may feed your people. You may live in peace. But if you ever build another warship, if you ever attack another world, we will return. And next time, we will not be so merciful." The channel closed. Elena sat in her command chair and closed her eyes. She was tired, so tired. 38 million of her people were dead. She could not bring them back, but she could make sure it never happened again. "Set course for Earth," she said. "We're going home. We have a message to send to the rest of the galaxy." The fleet turned and jumped to faster-than-light travel. Behind them, the Valorian homeworld sat in silence. A mighty empire humbled in less than a week. And across the galaxy, other species were watching, other eyes were seeing, other minds were learning. Humanity had announced itself to the universe, and the universe would never be the same. The Galactic Forum was the largest gathering of intelligent species in known space. 400 different kinds of aliens met there to talk and trade and sometimes fight. The Forum station floated in neutral space, far from any empire's borders. It was a place of diplomacy, a place of secrets, a place where the powerful decided the fate of the weak. Ambassador Crix of the Hollow World stood at the center of the great chamber. He was old and wise and afraid. His species had lived under Valorian rule for 800 years. They had learned to be quiet. They had learned to obey. Now everything was changing. The holographic display showed the footage again. The Valorian culling fleet appearing above Earth. The burning cities. The demand for surrender. Then the impossible happened. 37 ships appeared from nowhere. They fired weapons that should not exist. 200 Valorian warships died in 11 minutes. The chamber was silent. 400 ambassadors from 400 species watched with wide eyes and trembling hands. This footage arrived 6 hours ago, Crick said. It was sent by the humans themselves. They wanted us to see it. Is it real? Asked Ambassador Thresh of the Thornback clans. He was a warrior. His people respected only strength. The Valorians have ruled this region for 12,000 years. No one has ever defeated them like this. It is real, Crick said. We have confirmed it through our own sources. The Valorian culling fleet is destroyed. High Arbiter Thesson is dead. Whispers filled the chamber. Ambassadors turned to each other with shocked faces. There is more, Crick said. The footage changed. It showed the human fleet arriving at the Valorian homeworld. The defense platforms, the warships, all of them destroyed with casual ease. Then it showed the systematic destruction of every military installation on the planet. Bases turned to dust. Factories melted to slag. Shipyards reduced to rubble. The humans have destroyed the entire Valorian military, Crick said. Every ship, every weapon, everything. The Dominion no longer exists as a military power. The chamber exploded into chaos. Ambassadors shouted. Some cheered. Some cried. Some sat in stunned silence. For 800 years, the Valorians had terrorized this region of space. They had conquered. They had enslaved. They had burned worlds that refused to submit. No one had been able to stop them. Now, in less than a week, they had been brought to their knees by a species no one had ever heard of. Silence, Crick shouted. There is one more message. The holographic display changed again. A human face appeared. A woman with dark hair and cold eyes. She wore a military uniform. Behind her, stars moved slowly past a window. To the Galactic Forum and all who watch, the woman said, I am Commander Elena Vasquez of United Earth Command. I speak for the human race. Every ambassador leaned forward. We did not seek this war. We did not ask to be attacked. For thousands of years, we lived peacefully on our world. We looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. We hoped that if other life existed, it would be friendly. Her eyes hardened. The Valorians answered that hope with fire. They came to our world without warning. They demanded our surrender. When we did not immediately obey, they burned our cities. They killed 38 million of our people. Men, women, children, gone in an instant. She paused. For this crime, we have extracted payment. The Valorian military no longer exists. Their ability to harm anyone has been permanently ended. This was not revenge. This was necessity. We will not allow such an attack to happen again. The woman's expression changed. Something that might have been sadness crossed her face, but only for a moment. We broadcast this message because we want the galaxy to understand who we are. Humanity values peace. We value trade. We value cultural exchange and friendship between species. We would rather build than destroy. We would rather heal than harm. She leaned toward the camera. But we also remember our dead, and we do not forgive those who slaughter the innocent. If any species, any government, any power in this galaxy attacks Earth or our colonies, they will receive the same response the Valorians received. Swift, total, complete. The woman sat back. We extend our hand in friendship to any who wish to take it. We ask only to be left in peace to live and grow and explore. We hope you will choose friendship. We hope you will choose peace. Her eyes turned cold again. But if you choose violence, You will find that we are very, very good at it." The message ended. The chamber remained silent for a long time. Finally, Ambassador Thresh spoke. The Thornback warrior was smiling. His teeth were sharp as knives. "I like them," he said. "I like them very much. My people will send a delegation immediately. We wish to discuss an alliance." This broke the silence. Suddenly everyone was talking. The Machine Collective, a race of artificial intelligences, announced that they would send gifts and proposals for technological exchange. The Kreth Syndicate, slavers who had planned to raid human colonies, quietly announced that they were disbanding their raiding fleets and seeking legitimate business opportunities. The Hollow World's Krix's own people sent a message of gratitude. For 800 years they had suffered under Valorian rule. Now they were free. Message after message flooded into Earth's communication systems. Trade offers, alliance requests, expressions of goodwill. Every species in the region was suddenly very interested in being humanity's friend. Krix watched it all happen with ancient eyes. He had lived for 300 years. He had seen empires rise and fall. He understood what was happening. The old order was dying. For thousands of years, the strong had ruled through fear. They had conquered and enslaved because they could, because no one could stop them. Now humanity had shown that there was a new power in the galaxy, a power that was stronger than the old empires, a power that could destroy fleets and crush worlds, but also a power that did not want to conquer, a power that asked only for peace. The galaxy was learning a new lesson, a lesson about humanity. They were learning that humans could be the best friends you ever had, or the worst enemies imaginable. And across 100 star systems, species were making the same choice. They were choosing friendship. They were choosing peace, because the alternative was too terrible to imagine. Krix smiled. For the first time in 800 years, he felt something he had almost forgotten. Hope. Ambassador David Chen stood in the greeting hall of the Galactic Forum Station and tried not to look overwhelmed. 6 months ago, he had been a mid-level diplomat working on trade agreements between Earth and its moon colonies. Now he was the most important human in the galaxy. The greeting hall was enormous. It could hold 10,000 beings from 100 different species. Today it was packed. Everyone wanted to meet the human ambassador. Everyone wanted to be Earth's friend. David adjusted his collar and stepped forward to meet the first delegation. The Thornback clans had arrived with their finest warriors. They were tall creatures covered in sharp spines. Their leader, War Chief Grax, stood over 7 feet tall. His eyes were yellow and his teeth were sharp enough to bite through steel. "Ambassador Chen," Grax said. His voice was deep as thunder. "The Thornback clans honor your people. We have watched the footage of your victory many times. Your commander Vasquez fights with great skill. We wish to learn from your warriors. We wish to stand beside them in battle." David bowed respectfully. "The honor is ours, War Chief. Humanity values brave allies. We would be pleased to discuss a military partnership." Grax smiled. It was a terrifying sight. "Good. We will send our best fighters to train with your people. And perhaps," his eyes gleamed, "perhaps your commander Vasquez would agree to spar with me. I wish to test myself against her." David made a mental note to warn Elena about that. "I will pass along your request." The next delegation was completely different. The Machine Collective sent 3 silver robots that floated above the ground. They spoke with voices like music. "Ambassador Chen," they said in perfect harmony, "the Machine Collective wishes to establish technological exchange with humanity. We have observed your ships, your weapons, your engines. We find them fascinating. We would share our knowledge in return for the opportunity to study your technology." David nodded carefully. Earth Command had warned him about the Machine Collective. Before the Valorian attack, they had planned to harvest human brain patterns for their own experiments. Now they wanted to be friends. "We are open to discussion," David said. "But any exchange must be equal, and any study of human technology must be approved by our government." "Of course, we understand. We wish only peaceful cooperation." David believed them, not because they were trustworthy, but because they had seen what happened to the Valorians. The Machine Collective was many things, but they were not stupid. The delegations kept coming, hour after hour. species that Earth had never heard of, governments that had existed for millennia. All of them wanted the same thing. They wanted humanity on their side. The hollow world sent ambassadors with tears in their eyes. For 800 years, their people had been slaves. The Valorians had taken their young to work in mines. They had taken their food and left them starving. Now they were free. "We have no army," Ambassador Crix told David. "We have no weapons. We cannot repay what humanity has done for us. But we offer our friendship, our loyalty, forever." David took the old alien's hand. "That is more than enough, Ambassador. Humanity does not ask for payment. We ask only for peace." Crix wept. He was not ashamed. Many of his people were weeping that day. The Kreth Syndicate came next. They had been slavers, pirates, criminals. They had planned to raid human colonies and sell the survivors. Now their leader knelt before David Chen. "The Syndicate is disbanded," he said. His voice was humble. "We no longer deal in slaves. We seek legitimate business, trade routes, transport services. We wish to start again." David looked at the creature who would have sold his people into slavery. Part of him wanted to refuse. Part of him wanted revenge. But that was not humanity's way. Elena had destroyed the Valorian military. She had not destroyed the Valorian people. She had given them a chance to change. "The past is the past," David said. "If you truly wish to change, humanity will give you that chance. But if you ever return to your old ways—" "We will not," the Kreth leader said quickly. "We have seen what happens to those who cross humanity. We learn fast." And that was the truth. The galaxy was learning very fast indeed. In the weeks that followed, David signed more treaties than he could count. Trade agreements, non-aggression pacts, scientific exchanges, cultural partnerships. Species that had fought each other for centuries suddenly found common ground. They all wanted to be part of humanity's circle. They all wanted protection, friendship, access to human technology. Earth became the center of a new alliance, not an empire. Humans had no interest in ruling others, but a partnership, a community of species working together for common goals. They called it the Orion Compact. The rules were simple. All members agreed not to attack each other. All members agreed to free and fair trade. All members agreed to mutual defense. And all members understood one unspoken rule. If you broke the agreement, if you attacked another member, humanity would respond. No one wanted that. David Chen worked 18-hour days. He slept 4 hours when he could. He negotiated with beings that had 6 arms or no bodies or existed as clouds of gas. He learned to read alien expressions and speak alien languages and understand alien cultures. It was exhausting. It was overwhelming. It was the most important work he had ever done. One evening, he stood on the observation deck of the Forum Station and looked out at the stars. So many lights, so many worlds, so many species, all looking to humanity for leadership. "You look tired," a voice said behind him. He turned. It was Commander Elena Vasquez. She had arrived that morning for a military conference. Her uniform was crisp. Her eyes were still cold. But there was something softer in them now. "I am tired," David admitted, "but it's worth it. Look at what we're building. A real community, real peace. Species that hated each other for centuries are now working together." Elena nodded. "They're afraid of us?" "Yes, but not just that. They respect us. They trust us. We could have conquered the Valorians. We could have taken their world. But we didn't. We showed them mercy. That matters." Elena was silent for a moment. 38 million dead. "Sometimes I wonder if mercy was the right choice." "It was," David said firmly. "Revenge feels good, but peace lasts longer. We're building something that will outlast both of us. Something that might last forever." Elena looked at the stars. For the first time since David had met her, she smiled. "Forever is a long time, Ambassador. Let's start with tomorrow." David smiled back. "Tomorrow works for me." They stood together and watched the stars. Somewhere out there, species were changing. Old hatreds were fading. New friendships were forming. The galaxy had caught on fast. Humanity was here to stay. And the universe would never be the same. 50 years had passed since the Valorian attack on Earth. Admiral Elena Vasquez sat in her private garden on the human colony of New Athens. She was 82 years old now. Her hair was white, her face was lined with wrinkles, but her eyes were still sharp, still cold, still the eyes of the woman who had broken an empire in 11 minutes. Around her, flowers bloomed in every color, earth flowers and alien flowers, growing together in the same soil. It was a small thing, but it meant something. A young officer approached and saluted. "Admiral Vasquez, your visitor has arrived." Elena nodded and rose slowly from her chair. Her bones ached these days, but she would not show weakness, not to this visitor. Elder Counselor Thasan the Younger walked into the garden. He was Valorian. His skin was pale blue like his grandfather's had been, but that was where the similarity ended. High Arbiter Thesson had been a conqueror, a killer, a monster. His grandson was something different. "Admiral Vasquez," Thesson said. He bowed deeply. "Thank you for agreeing to see me." Elena gestured to a chair. "Sit, we have much to discuss." They sat across from each other in the garden. Human and Valorian, victor and descendant of the defeated, the past and the future. "My people have completed the reparations," Thesson said. "The final payment was transferred last month. Hospitals, schools, memorials, all built in the cities your grandfather destroyed." "Good, Elena said. "And the military restrictions?" "Still in place, for one more generation. As agreed, we have no warships, no weapons platforms, no military research. My people have learned to build other things instead." Elena studied him. She had met many Valorians over the years. Some were bitter, some were resentful, some still dreamed of revenge, but not this one. This one was different. "Why did you really come here?" she asked. "You could have sent a message about the reparations." Thesson was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was soft. "I came to thank you." Elena raised an eyebrow. "Thank me? I destroyed your empire. I killed your grandfather. I ended your people's power forever." "Yes," the son said, "and you saved us." Elena waited. "My grandfather was a monster," Tassan continued. "His father was a monster. His father before him. For 12,000 years, my people lived only for conquest. We measured our worth in slaves and burned worlds. We knew nothing else." He leaned forward. "Do you know what we have now? Peace, trade, art, music. My children play with human children. They learn human languages. They read human books. They are happy." His eyes met hers. "Before you came, we had power, but we were empty. Now we have lost our power, but we have found something better. We have found ourselves." Elena was silent for a long time. She thought about the battle, the ships burning, the cities turned to glass, 38 million dead on Earth, thousands of Valorians dead in space, so much death, so much pain. And now this, a Valorian grandson thanking her for his grandfather's defeat. "The universe is strange," she finally said. Tassan smiled. "It is, but I think it is also good, or at least it can be." They talked for hours about the past, about the future, about the Orion Compact and its 127 member species, about the trade routes that connected 100 star systems, about the children who grew up never knowing war. When Thesson left, Elena sat alone in her garden and remembered. She remembered the day the Valorians came, the fire in the sky, the cities burning, the screams. She remembered the cold rage that had filled her heart, the decision to fight back, the 11 minutes that changed everything. She remembered the long years that followed, the negotiations, the treaties, the slow, careful work of building a new galaxy. Had it been worth it? All the death? All the pain? She looked at the flowers around her, Earth flowers and alien flowers blooming together. Yes, it had been worth it. 2 weeks later, Elena gave her final interview. Reporters from a dozen species came to hear her speak. It would be broadcast across the galaxy. "Admiral Vasquez," a young human journalist asked, "after 50 years, what do you think humanity's greatest weapon truly is?" Elena smiled. It was a rare sight. The cold warrior smiling for the cameras. "Everyone thinks it's our ships," she said. "Our technology, our willingness to fight. They think we won because we were stronger, because we had better weapons. She shook her head. That's not our greatest weapon. Our greatest weapon is that we don't actually want to use any of it. We genuinely want peace, trade, friendship. We mean it when we extend our hand. She paused. But we also mean it when we make a fist. And the galaxy learned very quickly that they preferred the hand. The journalist nodded. And the Orion Compact? Do you think it will last? I don't know, Elena admitted. Nothing lasts forever. Empires rise and fall. Alliances form and break. That's the nature of the universe. She looked directly at the camera. But I know this. For 50 years there has been peace. Children have grown up without knowing war. Species that once hated each other now work together. That matters. Even if it all falls apart tomorrow, that matters. Any final words, Admiral? Elena thought for a moment. Yes, she said. To anyone watching this in the future, from any species, on any world, humanity is not special because we're strong. Many species are strong. Humanity is special because we remember. Her eyes hardened one final time. We remember our dead. We remember those who helped us. We remember those who hurt us. And we always, always repay in kind. Kindness for kindness, cruelty for cruelty. Remember that when you deal with us. She smiled again. Choose kindness. It's better for everyone. The interview ended. The footage spread across 100 star systems. Species watched and remembered the lesson humanity had taught them 50 years ago. In the archives of the Galactic Forum, humanity's entry had been updated one final time. Species classification, social omnivore, persistence predator ancestry, threat assessment, extreme. Do not engage hostilely under any circumstances. Diplomatic status, preferred partner. Founding member of the Orion Compact. Cultural notes. Humans value reciprocity above all else. They return precisely what they receive. Kindness for kindness. Cruelty for cruelty. Recommendation. Kindness. Always kindness. Elena Vasquez died 3 months later, surrounded by family and friends. She was buried on New Athens, in a garden of earth, in alien flowers. But her legacy lived on. The galaxy never forgot the lesson humanity taught them. They had caught on fast all those years ago, and they remembered. In a universe full of species that ruled through fear and conquered through strength, humanity had found another way. They had extended a hand in friendship, and the galaxy wisely had taken it, and the stars had never been more peaceful.